Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever day, good whatever time. Okay, my name is Mr. Fok, otherwise known as Lungelo Konene. So today we are going to be doing the rules of the road from the famous K53 book. This one put together by Kenny McDonald's. All right, so we are going to kick it off with the general rules. General rules, okay? General rules. What color pen is this now? Come on now. General rules. Oh, let me choose the. Oh, yes, I'm used to the bigger one. All right. So the general rules. So part of the general rules, they say that always drive on the left-hand side of a two-way road. If you may drive on the right-hand side of a one-way road, if it is safe to do so. You are required to drive where? On the left-hand side of the road. You may drive on the right-hand side of a one-way road if it is safe to do so. A one-way road, Bangani Bami, would be a road like this. They say one-way road. One way. They're going in the same direction. There's a single lane and a one way. One way, all lanes are going like this. All right. So then the second point there, they're saying that, let me choose the editing. Yeah. Always maintain a safe following distance as part from the vehicle in front of you, which is 2 seconds in a light motor vehicle and 3 seconds in a heavy motor vehicle. 2 second rule, 3 second rule. The 2 second rule is for light motor vehicles. Light motor vehicles. Okay? The heavy motor vehicles, it's 3 seconds. Heavy motor vehicles. Okay, 3 seconds. However, when you get to your test, they will ask you about the following distance, right? They will say to you, the following distance is when a vehicle in front of you suddenly stops and you are able to do what? If the vehicle in front of you, let's say this is the vehicle in front of you. Let's say this is the vehicle in front of you. If the vehicle in front of you suddenly stops and you are following from behind, vehicle A, vehicle B, you are able to do what? This is the safe following distance. Safe following. And you are able to do what? You, as vehicle B, you should be able to stop without swerving. So you go with this option, stop without swerving. If you are able to stop without swerving, then you are keeping a safe following distance. All right. And then what's the next point there? They say that should conditions be poor, adjust your following distance accordingly. Should conditions be poor, you need to adjust your following distance accordingly. So that means if maybe the surface is wet, it's misty, or whatever the case may be, there is poor visibility, you increase the distance. If this is the distance you were keeping, if this is the normal following distance, under critical conditions, you increase the distance. Maybe you follow it from here. All right. I hope you got it. And then we come to this point. Always display your vehicle license disc. This is valid for 12 months. The vehicle license disc is valid for a period of 12 months, and you must always display it. If you don't display your vehicle license disc, you are at fault. All right? And you can be charged with a fine. Always obey the instructions of a traffic officer. These take precedence over any rules or traffic signs. So the rules of a traffic officer, they take precedence. They come first. If the traffic officer says stop here, you stop. Even if there's a sign that says you must not stop, but because the traffic officer says you must stop, you stop. That's why they say the instructions of a traffic officer, they take precedence. They come first. All right. And then we come to the rules with regards to driving on divided roads. Driving on divided roads. Okay. So they're saying here, where a road has been divided by either a painted line or a physical barrier, always stay on the left of the division. So let's look at the example given here. Let's look at the example given here. There is a division that divides the road. They say you must stay on the left. This barrier or division may not be crossed, may only be crossed at an opening or space where it is specifically indicated to do so. You don't cross here or there. You only cross in the opening where it is allocated to do so. Hey, Nina Forky, you must not just watch this video. You must also follow me. You must also subscribe to this channel, okay? Please do click on the subscribe button, because I know more than 67% of the people who are watching my videos are not subscribed. So please do me a favor and click on that subscribe button. All right. And then driving on the shoulder of the road. Driving on the shoulder of the road. They're saying here, do not drive continuously on the shoulder of the road. When we're talking of the shoulder of the road, we are talking of the yellow line. The yellow line. You are not allowed to drive continuously on the yellow line. Should another vehicle intend to overtake you, you may move onto the shoulder of the road if you can clearly see no other obstructing vehicle or pedestrians at least 150 meters ahead. So you are actually not allowed to drive on the yellow line, or rather you are allowed to drive on the yellow line under certain conditions, and conditions such as if you want to allow another vehicle to overtake you. All right, this may only be done on a single lane roadway, in a single lane road, and between sunrise and sunset. You only drive on the yellow line to allow another vehicle to overtake you if it is a single lane roadway, and you do it if it's during the day. So you see from the illustrations given here is that this is at night, so it's not allowed. It's not allowed at night. During the day, it's allowed. Okay, so you must always remember this. Now let's go down to the rules with regards to parking. The rules with regards to parking. They're saying here, do not park in the following areas. Any of the places referred to in stopping your vehicle, in such a place where you will obscure a road sign, on the sidewalk unless you can, and unless such vehicle is being used by a street vendor or hawker. So you're not allowed to park your vehicle on the pavement unless you are a street vendor or unless you sell by the side of the road. Okay. At the entrance to any private or public vehicle entrance, yeah, kuthatha imoto yakho and park it at my gate or at any other gate. Don't do that. Within 1 meter of the edge of the road, outside an open area unless it is a designated parking bay. Within 1.5 meters of a fire hydrant, within 9 meters of a pedestrian crossing, within 5 meters of an intersection. You see, these numbers, very important, is for the importantment, these ones. Very important. 1 meter road edge outside an open area, 1.5 meters of a fire hydrant, 9 meters of a pedestrian crossing, 5 meters of an intersection. Very important. Upon the actuating mechanism of a traffic signal, emarobotini, you don't park your vehicle there, with your left wheels further than 450 millimeters into the road edge of the pavement, unless permitted by a road sign, on a road that is less than 5.5 meters wide, unless it is a one-way, on a traffic island, in a pedestrian lane or pedestrian mall, and in a loading zone. So So these are all the conditions with regards to parking your vehicle. But also, they put a very important note there. If I was the one writing this book, I would tell you that this one is important, this one. I'll say, and B, important. Okay? Failure to adhere to these rules will result in a fine and or your vehicle being impounded. The above rules do not apply to emergency vehicles, on-duty police and traffic officers, and road construction and maintenance vehicles. So you must not see a traffic officer having stopped where you are not allowed to stop, and then you also stop. If they are on duty, they can park their vehicles anyhow and anyway. All right. Okay. The rules with regards to parking does not apply to them. So here there are some images that are shown here. Okay. Here you have the 450 millimeters into the roadway. Here you have 9 meters within a pedestrian crossing. And then here you have 1.5 meters from a fire hydrant. That is a fire hydrant. Okay. And then the traffic island. There is the traffic island. You don't park your vehicle there. And then you don't park your vehicle by the side of the road where the road is 5.5 meters wide. You don't park your vehicle within 5 meters of the actuating traffic sign or traffic signal, rather. Okay, so it's like that, Bangan Mami. Now we are going to then move on to overtaking or passing another vehicle. Overtaking or passing another vehicle, okay? Unless prohibited to do so by any road sign or marking, you may overtake a vehicle where it is safe to do so by passing on the right of the vehicle. Only return to the left side when safely past the vehicle. Never overtake where your visibility is limited, such as on a blind rise or corner. Never overtake a vehicle that is stopped at a pedestrian crossing. When passing a stationary bus, always check for passengers boarding or getting off the bus. Simple and straightforward here. Simple and straightforward. Okay. Right. And then now we then go down to the rules with regards to overtaking. The rules with regards to overtaking or passing on the left. Overtaking or passing on the left. They're saying here, you may overtake on the left where the vehicle in front of you is turning right, or even when it has indicated to turn right, then you can overtake. You may overtake on the left where there are 2 or more lanes for vehicles traveling in the same direction. However, they're saying keep left, pass right is safest. Never cross over the yellow line when overtaking on the left. You do not cross the yellow line when you are overtaking on the left. All right. And then now let's go down to the illustrations. Right. Now, here, this vehicle is turning right, so this one is overtaking on the left. But remember, they say when you are overtaking on the left, you are not allowed to cross the yellow line. You don't cross the yellow line when you are overtaking on the left. You are allowed to overtake, but you may not cross the yellow line. Being overtaken. When another vehicle intends to overtake you, listen, you move over to the left if it is safe to do so, and maintain your speed without accelerating. Don't be those people whereby when you try to overtake them, they press. You try to overtake them, they press. You must not be like that, my friend. It does not suit you, okay? So you must just move slightly to your left, allow the other vehicle to overtake you, and do not accelerate. And then keep left, pass right. All right, you overtake on the right, okay? And then here, you're not allowed to overtake Overtaking on a bend is not allowed. Overtaking near a pedestrian crossing is not allowed. Overtaking oncoming traffic is not allowed. Overtaking where there are no crossing double lines, you are not allowed to do that. You see, all of these things you must adhere to. You must follow these rules, my children, my friends. Okay, right. And then we come to these sketches. Sketch 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's refer to these ones. They're saying here, crossing or entering a public road or traffic lanes. See page 58, sketch 1. Let's go. Sketch 1, there. There is sketch 1. Okay? You see? It's car 1, car 2, car 3, car 4, and car 5. Let's see what are they saying with regards to to sketch 1. What are they actually saying? They're saying here, you may only enter a public road when it is free of other traffic long enough for you to safely enter it. So you don't just move into the next lane. You don't just move into the lane unless you know or unless you see that it is safe for you to do that. You may only enter or cross into another lane when sufficiently clear for you to do so. If you see, you switch the lanes if you see that it's sufficiently clear for you to do that. Do not enter into or cross an intersection if, number 1, if it will cause an obstruction to traffic flow when the signal changes. 2 and 3, if this can pose danger to other traffic. This can pose danger to other traffic. If you see that crossing into a different lane will or entering an intersection will cause danger, you don't do that. Signals and indicating. Signals and indicating. They're saying here, always signal your intention to turn, to reduce speed, or to stop by using indicators, brake lights, and hand signals. Ensure that you do this, allowing sufficient time to warn all other road users of your intention. You don't indicate here and you are turning here. You indicate it well in advance. Hand signals are not to be used on a freeway. Hand signals are not to be used on a freeway. There is a hand signal illustration in road test. See page 126, but I don't think we have it. But there is hand signal illustrations. I'll try and find it for you so I can show you. And then we have the rules with regards to turning left. See page 58, sketch 2. They're saying what here? They're saying here, keep as far to the right, keep as far left as possible as you're about to make your turn. And these are the rules with regards to turning left. You must keep left as far as possible. You must, once you have turned, you adjust your speed accordingly. So what do we mean? You find the vehicles there, they are traveling faster. And then you turn, you join them. Then you are driving slow. You see, you have a problem when you do that. There is a problem when you do that. And then we also now go to the rules with regards to turning right. Ensure that you are in the correct lane according to any lane direction arrows. Indicate well in advance. Then you keep as far to the right as possible as you are about to make your turn. You give way to oncoming traffic and wait for a suitable opportunity to turn. You allow ample space for your vehicles behind you to pass you on your left. Before making your turn, ensure you pass the crossroad center line. Do not cut corners. So these are very simple and straightforward rules of the road. Now let's go down to the rules with mini circles and roundabout. Mini circles and roundabout. A mini circle, it's a circle that is mini, that is small. I don't know how you want me to explain it, but it's a mini circle. And normally a roundabout, it's what you find in bigger roads, right? Okay, they're saying here, at all mini circles and roundabouts, the rule of law is yield to your right. You give way to a vehicle coming, approaching you from the right. When approaching a traffic circle, always give way to any vehicle approaching on your right. However, all vehicles already in the traffic circle have right of way. At mini circles, any vehicle that crosses the yield line before you has the right of way. If a person crosses the yield line before you, have a right of way. Yield line, you'll see it with being broken like this, and then it's like this. This is a yield line. So in mini circle, a person that will cross the yield line before you has a right of way. Okay? Right. They're saying here, always indicate which route you intend to take to exit the circle. So always indicate you intend to take this direction. You must always indicate. All right. Now we come to the rules with regards to stopping your vehicle. Where and how and when do you stop? Okay. Places you may not stop your vehicle. Alongside an excavation if this obstruct traffic. In a tunnel, subway or a bridge. Within 6 meters of a tunnel, subway or a bridge. On or within 6 meters of where a road has narrowed. In contravention of any road traffic sign or marking. On the right hand side of the road facing oncoming traffic. These are all the places where you're not allowed to stop your vehicle. And then alongside or opposite another vehicle where the road is less than 9 meters wide. Within the rail reserve at a level crossing, and then within 9 meters of the approach side at a pedestrian crossing, within 1.5 meter of a fire hydrant, at any place where it will cause an obstruction, and on a freeway. These are all the places where you are not allowed to stop your vehicle. Let me erase it so that you have a clean thingy to look at. You see, where is it compulsory for you to stop your vehicle? And then, or when is it compulsory for you to stop your vehicle? They say here, always stop when you are directed to do so by a traffic officer or a road sign, when you are involved in an accident, at any pedestrian, when any pedestrian is about to enter a pedestrian crossing, and when you are requested to do so by any person herding animals over the road. So if there is a person herding the animals over the road and that person is asking you to stop, it is compulsory for you to stop for that person. All right. So guys, please make sure that you like the video, like and follow. Like this video and subscribe. I forgot. Like, subscribe, follow, whatever you do. Like the video. Please, the more likes, the more the algorithm recommends the content. Right. Now we get to the general duties of drivers and passengers. The general duties of drivers and passengers. So, when driving, you may not do the following. When you are driving, you may not do the following. Which is what? You may not travel backwards longer than necessary, only when safe to do so. So you are allowed to travel in reverse, but you may only do that as long as it is safe to do so. Okay? You may not follow another vehicle closer than is safe to do so. You may not permit another person, another person, animals, load, or anything else to hamper your complete control of the vehicle, including observations, hearing, signaling, slowing down, and changing direction. So no one and nothing should hamper your complete control of the vehicle. So you should be able to. You must be seated in a position that you have the full control of the vehicle. All right. And then we come to this one. You may not permit another person to steer or operate the vehicle. You may not leave the vehicle. You may not leave your vehicle without setting the handbrake to prevent it from moving. So make sure that before you leave your vehicle, your handbrake is up. Or if the handbrake is not working, use alternative methods to prevent the vehicle from moving. Wanganbam. Use alternative methods. Those alternative methods could be to use to put it on gear number 2 and then you leave it or whatsoever, but use alternative methods. You may not have any part of your body sticking out of the vehicle unless you are executing a hand signal. The same applies to your passengers. So no one should have any body part out of the vehicle. When you are inside the vehicle, you are inside the vehicle, okay? When you are outside, you must be outside completely unless you want to give hand signal. All right. You may not allow any person or animal on the roof or running board of your vehicle while it is in motion. No one should be on top of the vehicle while the vehicle is moving. You may not run your engine in such a way as to give off excessive smoke or fumes. You may not run your engine as to give unnecessary smokes or fumes. So you may not leave your engine running while your vehicle is unattended. All right? You may not deposit fuel, oil, grease, ashes, or any other refuse onto the road. You may not leave your vehicle engine running while fuel is being pumped into it. You may not allow anyone to enter or leave your vehicle while it is moving. You may not drive, push, or pull a vehicle onto the sidewalk. And then the last one says you may not operate any communication device without a hands-free kit. So you do not text and drive. You do not text and drive. Okay. So they say here that this is one of the most important things. Always give way to vehicles sounding a siren. When you hear a vehicle that has a wee, 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 wee sound, you give way to that vehicle. When safe to do so, when safe to do so. It is recommended that you do not listen to excessive loud music or wear headphones while driving. Okay. So you must not play loud music in a way that now you cannot hear any emergency vehicle when sounding a siren. So these are things that we said you may not do. Is to follow another vehicle too closely. Okay? You may not have your luggage or whatever mthwalo protrude. Your load may not protrude like that. This thing is prohibited. You may not allow anyone to do this. You may not get off while the vehicle is in motion. You may not be on your phone while you are driving. So these are all the things that are not allowed. Now we come down to duties relating to motorcycles and tricycles and quad bikes. You must sit right. Right here, the motorcycles, we're not going to cover it for now. We only doing the motor vehicles, okay? So the motorcycles for now, we are going to leave it aside because you are not going to be asked about it in your test. And then we come to vehicles causing excessive noise. Vehicles causing excessive noise. You may not operate a vehicle which is causing excessive noise. Imoto ebanga umsindo ayifuneki. You may not use your hooter unnecessarily, and it must be audible at a distance of 90 meters. Guys, don't forget the the hooter of your vehicle. It must be audible at the distance of 90 meters. 90 meters. Okay? 90 meters. You must hear it 90 meters away. And then we have pedestrians right of way at a pedestrian crossing. They're saying here, look, they're saying when a pedestrian crossing is situated at a traffic light, the pedestrian must obey the signal of the traffic light. Drivers must yield right of way to a pedestrian entering or already at a pedestrian crossing. A pedestrian shall not run onto or enter a pedestrian crossing in such a manner that it shall make it difficult for the driver to yield. So, as a pedestrian, you don't just jump in just because when you are seeing a pedestrian crossing, then you jump in. You are not allowed to do that. No driver may overtake another vehicle which has stopped at a pedestrian crossing. So if you are driving and you see a vehicle has stopped at a pedestrian crossing, you are not then allowed to overtake a vehicle that has stopped there. Racing and sport. Okay. Any race or sporting event on a public road must be approved by the relevant authority. So you may not conduct a sports meeting without getting the permission from the authorities. You may not do that. All right. And then now we come to hindering or obstructing traffic on a public road. You may not in any way hinder the free flow of traffic, either with your vehicle or with any other object. So anything that seeks to hinder the flow of the traffic is prohibited. You may not do. Okay. To hinder, ukuphazamisa, ukuvimba imoto, to obstruct, you see. So the vehicles are not now traveling in a way they should be traveling. Okay. Right. And then now we come to abandoned vehicles on a public road. Any vehicle that has been abandoned will be removed and impounded. A vehicle is considered abandoned when it is causing an obstruction. If the vehicle is causing an obstruction, that vehicle is considered abandoned. If that vehicle is parked in a prohibited area, if that vehicle is parked in a prohibited area, so if you have parked your vehicle where you are prohibited from parking, then that vehicle is considered abandoned. When it is left standing for more than 24 hours on a public road outside an urban area. Listen, with regard to abandonment, 24 hours, urban, okay? 24 hours in an urban area. And then they say when it is left standing for more than 7 days on a public road, 7 days, public road. On a public road, it's 7 days, and then it's 24 hours in an urban area. When it has no license or registration number, when it is parked in a non-stopping or non-parking area. With everything being said, the most important things, you must remember this. It's 24 hours in an urban area. It's 7 days in a public road. All right. All right. And then now we then go down to this one. Oh, here are the examples. All right. You may not do this. This is not allowed. You may not park your vehicle here. It's an inappropriate place. It's an inappropriate place, okay? So you are not allowed to park your vehicle there. So please give me a minute. Give me just a second. I'll continue now. Okay, I'm back. So, damage to public roads. Damage to public roads. Okay. You may not wheel spin or drag your wheels. And then you may not use shocks or shoes between any of your vehicle wheels. You may not cause any damage to the surface of the public road. So anything that seeks to damage the road is not allowed. Anything that seeks to damage the road is not allowed. All right? All right. And then now we then come to okay, you see this. Let me choose this color. This, my friend, this is not allowed. You cannot wheel spin on the road. You cannot wheel spin. This is completely not allowed. All right. And then freeway. What are the rules with regards to freeways? With regards to the freeway. Sorry, can you please give me just a second again? Just a second. But meanwhile, you may just be reading. Okay, so the rules with regards to driving on the freeway. Okay, apologies for that short delay. You may drive on a freeway with a learner's license provided you are accompanied by someone with a valid driver's license of the same category. So, you are allowed to drive on the freeway provided that you have someone with the same driving license code. So if your driver's license is for code 10, you should if your learners is for code 10, you should be having someone with a code 10 license with you. If your driver's license is code 8, you must have a code 8 license holder with you, okay? And then, should a vehicle behind you wish to overtake you, use your indicator and move over to the left when safe to do so. So guys, when you are traveling on the freeway and the vehicle behind you want to overtake you, you must move to the next lane. You don't stay on the freeway, but you move to the next lane. Okay? Right, you allow, even if you are traveling at a designated speed limit, the speed limit for freeway is 120 kilometers per hour. Okay? So even if you are driving at 120 kilometers per hour, but if the person behind you wants to overtake you and you are traveling on a fast lane, this is the fast lane, you must move to the next lane. You allow the other person to overtake you. Okay? Right, and then now we come on to um, the the following are not allowed on a freeway. The following are not allowed on a freeway, which are animal-drawn vehicles, bicycles, motorcycles with an engine capacity of 50 cc or less, motor tricycles or quadricycles, vehicles with a mass of 230 kgs or less, especially constructed for disabled people, tractors, pedestrians, unless within an area reserved for stopping or in a situation beyond beyond their control, animals, unless in a vehicle or in an area reserved for stopping. Okay, these are all the uses that are not allowed on the freeway. These are all the uses that are not allowed on the freeway. Okay, now you may not stop on a freeway. You may not stop on a freeway unless you are instructed to do so by a traffic officer, unless you are in an area reserved for stopping or parking, unless you are in a situation beyond your control. So you are not allowed to stop on the freeway unless you are under these conditions. All right? Right, sharp. And then now we come to this one. You may not use hand signals on a freeway unless in a situation beyond your control. On the freeway again, you are not allowed to use hand signals unless the situation is beyond your control. Now we come to the rules with regards to towing. The rules with regards to towing. So, when towing, the length of the tow rope, tow bar, or chain between the two vehicles, which is the towed vehicle and the towing vehicle, cannot exceed 3.5 meters. A licensed driver must be in control of the towed vehicle unless the front wheels are clear of the ground, or a device is used to control the steering. If the brakes of the towed vehicle are defective, meaning if they are not working, it must be hooked up by means of an appropriate tow bar. Okay, simple and straightforward. A drawbar, tow bar, or tow bar must be used to tow a vehicle in excess of 30 kilometers per hour. So that means if you want to drive more than 30 kilometers per hour, then you must use a tow bar or a drawbar. The drawbar is that one which paramisas the wheels. It draws the wheels of the vehicle, the front wheels or the back wheels. Okay, no passengers are allowed in a towed vehicle unless said vehicle is a semi-trailer. You may not be in a towed vehicle unless that vehicle is a semi-trailer. Motorcycles, tricycles, quadricycles may not be used for towing. So you cannot take a scooter and you tow a vehicle with it. Oh, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do there? You may not do that. Okay. So this is the required distance between the towed vehicle and the towed vehicle. 3.5 meters. 3.5 meters. All right. And then we come to speed limits. The speed limits. You have the general speed limit, of which is 60 kilometers per hour on roads in urban areas, 100 kilometers per hour on roads outside urban areas, and 120 kilometers per hour on freeways. So these are general speed limits. This does not mean that when you find a speed limit which tells you that 30, which says 30, it does not mean this one is useless just because you are driving in roads in urban areas. You must obey it. It takes precedence, this one. These ones are just in general. When you are in roads in urban areas is 60, roads in outside urban areas 100, on a freeway is 120. Then you come to the speed limits for particular classes of vehicles. 80 kilometers per hour for goods vehicles or combination vehicles exceeding 9,000 kgs, and you have 100 kilometers per hour for a bus or a minibus. All right. Okay. And then we come to seat belts. Seat belts. Seat belts. Seat belts. So they say here, seat belts are to be worn at all times, except while reversing or parking, by the driver and the passenger. Any child under the age of 14 years, unless taller than 1.5 meters, must sit in the back of the vehicle. An adult passenger may not sit in a seat with no seat belt if there is another seat with a seat belt available. So that means if there are seat belts in the vehicle, everyone who is inside the vehicle must have a seat with a seat belt. Okay. No person shall operate a motor vehicle on a public road uh, uh, um, unless the seat belts are fitted to such motor vehicle are in a good working order. Sorry, let me repeat that. No person shall operate a motor vehicle on a public road unless the seat belts are fitted to such motor vehicle are in good working order. So you may not operate a motor vehicle that does not have a seat belt. Infants under 3 years must be seated on an appropriate child restraint. This does not apply in the case of a public transport vehicle. So now, an infant which is under 3 years must be seated in a child restraint seat. But you cannot go with that seat in a public transport. Imagine going to a taxi with that seat and say, this one is for my... No, it's not applicable in a public transport. Okay? So also don't fight with the taxi drivers and you say, why don't you have a car seat for my child? Folk. Threads. The threads. The tires. With regards to the tires. The thread of a tire must be visible and have a depth of at least 1 millimeter over the entire surface. Motorcycles of 50cc or less must be visible on no less than 80% of the tire surface. Motorcycles of more than 50cc must have visible thread of at least 1 millimeter over the entire surface of the tire. The tire must be in good condition with no budges or visible canvas. 3-thread tires may not be used on motorcycles. All right. So this is what is important here. The tire, the depth of the threads of a tire, 1 millimeter, may not be less than 1 millimeter across the entire width and circumference. Okay. Now let's come to the lights. So they're saying here, emergency hazard lights may only be used in an emergency or when the vehicle is stopped in a hazardous position. Motorcyclists must have their headlights on at all times. Other vehicles must have their headlights on between sunset and sunrise, and when visibility is less than 150 meters. Why am I talking about thousands? It's because I must ask you to hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed. Hit that follow button if you have not followed. The main beams, of which is the bright light, should be able to illuminate objects up to 100 meters ahead. The main beams, of which is bright light, should be dipped in the face of oncoming traffic, and such dipped beams shouldn't illuminate the road more than 45 meters. Listen, Gebangani bam. Bright 100 for your test, and then dipped 45. Bright 100, dipped 45. That's it. Okay, that's it. All right. And then now we also go on to the main beams The main beams, of which is bright light, must be used only when there is no oncoming traffic. Parking lights are to be used only when a vehicle is parked outside a parking bay or in a dark area more than 12 meters from a street light. Adjustable spotlights are only to be used by doctors, vets, at breakdowns, and by officials or by official vehicles. All right. Right. So there, bright should illuminate 100, and then dim should illuminate 45. It does not mean that your left should be 100 and your right should be 45. No, we're talking about if you switch your lights to dim, or should be 45, bright should be 100, fog. And then vehicle accidents. Now we talk about accidents because we cannot not talk about them. When involved in any form of an accident, you must do the following. You must stop your vehicle immediately. Establish if there have been any injuries. If so, call the police immediately. Provide any assistance where possible to the injured. Provide your name and address, the registration number of the vehicle, and the name and address of the owner of the vehicle. Report the accident to the nearest police station within 24 hours with your driving license in your possession. Any accident. Okay. You may not take any alcohol or drugs before reporting the accident. If there are injuries, your vehicle may only be moved with the authorization of an official and only after the position of the vehicle has been marked. If no one has been injured, you may move your vehicle if it is obstructing traffic. If no one is injured, then you may move the vehicle if it is obstructing traffic. I hope you hear me and you understand me, folk. All right, now we're going to move on to alcohol and narcotic drugs. Alcohol and narcotic drugs. While in control of a vehicle, behind the control of a running motor vehicle, you may not be under the influence of alcohol or any narcotic drug, nor can blood alcohol level exceed the general limit, of which is the length limit. The length limits are alcohol levels of less than 0.05 grams per 100 mils of blood and 0.02 megagrams per 1000 mils of breath for ordinary drivers, 0.02 per 100 mils, and 0.10 mg per 1000 mils for professional drivers. A professional driver is a driver that has a PDP. When you get your PDP, you are a professional driver. Professional driver's permit, PDP. Okay? Emergency warning signs. Emergency warning signs or warning triangles. They're saying that all motor vehicles first registered after 1st July 2007 must carry at least one emergency triangle. If a vehicle is stationary on a road for any reason, the triangle must be displayed at least 45 meters behind the vehicle. Okay, there is an example. This car is stationary 45 meters beyond the vehicle. There is the triangle. All right, this is the correct way of doing it. Okay, and then carrying passengers. Seated passengers may be carried on the back of an open truck or IDV where the sides are 350 millimeters above the sitting level. Okay, they may be carried in a bakkie like this, but they must be sitting down. Okay, standing passengers may be carried on the back of an open truck or IDV where the sides are 900 high. If the side is 900 meters high, then you may be carried standing. Passengers on motorcycles must wear a protective gear. Okay, sorry. Must wear a protective gear as prescribed. As prescribed. Passengers must here. Passengers must, if fitted, wear the seat belts on the seat they occupy. No passenger in a vehicle or on a public road shall permit any part of their body to protrude beyond such vehicle. All right, simple and straightforward. Simple and straightforward. And there are the illustrations. I've spoken about them. Now, we come on to animals on public roads. Animals on public roads. They're saying here, animals are only allowed on or near public road when under control. Such person heading animals over or on a public road must carry a warning at least 150 meters ahead and behind the herd as follows. During the day, the person must carry a 300 millimeter square red flag is sufficient. At night, a red light is required. If there are less than 10 animals, only one flag or light is required. Okay, right. Okay, and then now we come on to carrying loads. Okay. The load must be securely fastened and may not obstruct the driver's view or control. The load may not touch the road surface. The load, when you are carrying a load on the vehicle, it must be securely fastened and it must not hinder the driver's view or control. It may not exceed 4.3 meters high, 4.3 meters in height from the ground on all vehicles. It must not be more than 4.3 meters from the ground on all vehicles. It may not exceed half the height of the vehicle unless it is a bicycle. It may not exceed 2.5 meters in width, 2.6 meters for goods vehicles with a mass above 12,000 kgs. It may not project more than 300 millimeters in front of the vehicle. It may not project more than 1.8 meters to the back of the vehicle. All right, these are the rules with regards to carrying loads. Now let's see the illustrations that are given. The illustrations. So at the back, from here to there, the maximum is 1.8 meters. But in the front, 300 millimeters. The 300 millimeters is right about 30 centimeters. If you will understand it better in centimeters, 30 centimeters. All right. So these are the illustrations. I can leave you to watch them, and take a screenshot if you want to. There you go. Now we come to the safety markings and then we close. All right? And then we close. Safety markings. Loads that project more than 150 millimeters to the side and more than 300 millimeters to the rear must carry a red flag not less than 300 by 300 at each corner during the day, and at night, white reflectors must be attached to each front corner, red reflectors to each back corner, and yellow reflectors on the sides. For loads less than 600 millimeters wide that project 300 millimeters behind the vehicle, a red flag during the day, and red reflector at night is adequate. So thank you so much for tuning in to the rules of the road. Let's catch up next time when we're doing the road surface markings and the road signs. So please make sure that if you did not understand here, I'm free to engage with you guys in the comments and leave a subscribe button, leave a subscribe there. Just subscribe or follow until I see you next time. Cheers.